Hello, so I had a video all set to go today, and I'm pushing it off until next week because we need to talk about the current state of the worldwide spirits market, because I woke up this morning to the President of the United States promising, in retaliation for EU tariffs, we're promising to put EU tariffs on American bourbon, American whiskey. That in retaliation for our tariffs on various metals, the President of the United States is going to put 200% tariffs on all alcohol products coming from the EU. So just to kind of get in mind what that's going to be like, and it's hard to tell because, who knows how the importers are going to adjust their margins, assuming the importers stay in business, because a lot of them won't. Or wouldn't if this actually happens, and who knows if it'll actually happen. So you're talking about, on a basic bottle of cognac, say my beloved Jean Filiou, the La Pouillade, which is currently $60, that's going to hop up to just under 200 or so, between 150 and 200, because of this tariffs policy. Incidentally, the President of the United States isn't even supposed to be in charge of tariffs. That's supposed to be Congress. There's a 1977 act wherein the President is allowed to regulate these things in case of emergency, and it's up to you to decide how much of an emergency we're in. I mean, clearly we might be in one, but it's more of a kind of a self-created one. Anyhow, so back to my point. Now, you might be all in favor. You're happy to stick it to the French with their champagnes and their cognacs, and you're happy to encourage more business for the American domestic spirits production. I can maybe there's some kind of argument there, except like they're responding. We're responding to a modest couple of $1 million tariff on their part, because they don't buy a whole lot of bourbon, if I'm honest, over there, with a tariffs on, I don't even know, like a multi-billion-dollar industry of selling alcoholic products to the U.S. So there's going to be retaliation for this. Again, if any of this happens, and who knows if it'll happen, isn't it fun living in a nice environments of stable economic policies? Anyway, so we need to talk about all this, and I figured it's essentially, it's not just the new tariffs thing. That's part of it. The other part of it is you are now seeing wind downs, pullbacks throughout the spirits industry. Like I think just this morning, another thing I saw this morning was Diageo pulling out of their distill kind of producer incubator project thing. They're pulling out from that. Waterford is, I'm not sorry, we'll get to Waterford in a second, but Middleton, thank you, sorry, is idling its plant for a while. Green River is idling its plant for a while. There's a lot of slowdown, and these are the big producers. The small producers aren't going to be able to afford just shutting down for a couple of months. So a lot of people are going to be in a lot of trouble. So I wanted to talk about all this, and I don't know what the heck we do, how the heck we respond to it. And I wanted to do it in the context of what should have been, in retrospect, the canary in the coal mine. What should have told us that there was going to be problems. And that is the twin distilleries of Waterford in Ireland and Renegade in Grenada, because both of these distilleries shut down last year. Now, and I do have some history with these. I did a video about 2 years ago reviewing different bottlings from these two distilleries, and sort of complaining isn't the right word. No, maybe it is the right word. Complaining about them, and also just kind of pointing out how dumb some of the stuff they were doing was. And I hate being right. I really don't like being right, because, yeah, I think Waterford shut down later. I think it was maybe November, but this was only Renegade was only a couple of months earlier. The Cane Co., their big sort of cane planting facility, shut down. I don't know if there were buyers for these. There was rumors for buyers for Renegade, and maybe Gargano of Velier was going to take over, but I haven't heard anything, and everyone seems a little cash-strapped right now. Anyways, we'll get to it. Let's pour these and talk about them and review them, and yeah, let's see what's going on. This Waterford sent in by my good friend and friend of the channel, Joe. This is Waterford's heritage. This is their Goldthorpe barley, which is a very old heirloom varietal of barley. I'll get the Renegade poured, and we'll talk some more about the Waterford. And that's exciting. Like, I'm super stoked to see, someone playing around with nerdier barley varietals out there. But the other side of this is 3 years old. This is like 3 years and 7 months old, something like that. No, that's the wrong. Sorry. I should have written all this out. Yeah, and the cask list is 40% first fill American oak, 24% virgin American oak, 18% French oak, 18% vin doux naturel, which is French fortified sweet wine, dessert wine, and is bottled at 50%. And this is like the better part of $100, $90, $100 for a 3-year-old whiskey. It's a very well presented 3-year-old whiskey that is made from a very cool heirloom varietal. But keep in mind, $80, 3-year-old whiskey. So yeah, that may be an issue, right? Oh my god, I can smell the rum right here. Yeah, that is just screaming out of the glass. All right, Goldthorpe, here we go. It's cheating, but the first thing that comes to mind is Bladnoch. And Bladnoch is considerably less expensive than this. So I'm getting a lot of apple, a lot of pear. There's a very subtle, what is that? Something dairy, maybe a little bit of like a raclette cheese or something. Just a little bit of grated on your apple and pear. Certainly grainy. There's some oatmeal happening. Cinnamon sugar. Strawberry. Vanilla. Some very active casks on this. I mean, it's still... If you're paying attention, you can still tell it's pretty young. Like, this is all distilled in an all cask. It just hasn't had time to develop those kind of more complex tertiary notes. So it feels like good spirit, good casks, but kind of not really married yet. Like cinnamon bread. Let's go with that. What are those things called? Like, it's not just rolls, but it's the cinnamon rolly things with the fruit in them and the little dried fruit. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but something like that. Interesting. There's more graininess, even some kind of a seedy element. It smells like an everything bagel. Some cherry, kind of red fruit in general. I mean, there's a fair amount of wine casks on this, right? So that's not unsurprising. Definitely some honey. Some kind of a vague floral thing. It's not particularly floral. I mean, yeah. I mean, this smells. If you handed this to me and told me this was like a 5-6-year-old Bladnoch, I would believe you. That's more or less the profile. It's nice. Does it smell like 90, $100 on the palate? Ooh. And this is sometimes the problem with wine casks. It just brings out too much of an acrid, astringent, spicy, in a not so great way kind of element. Even a touch of like lavender soap in there. I mean, it's not unpleasant, but it doesn't feel like it's as balanced as it could be. Yeah, I mean, it's at the core. What this is a pretty good lowlands / islands. I would say more lowlands than Irish style of whiskey. Lots of fruit, apple, pear, mostly, touch of apricot, cinnamon, cardamom, lots of black pepper, vanilla, hint of like cheese again, that kind of raclette note, or even like a Comte, or like a Gruyere thing. A little floral, little honey. All that's fine, all that's delicious, but if then you're going to throw some kind of aggressive red wine casks in there that are kind of, maybe it's just the rest of the French oak as well. Maybe just being unfair to the red wine casks. But yeah, there's a lot of kind of raw leafiness, raw kind of black pepper, and almost curry spice, some both overripe and underripe red fruit, particularly strawberry, maybe a little bit of cherry too. Stemminess, yeah. And notably, I mean, so the mouthfeel around here is fine. Finish isn't too bad, except it's unbalanced because of the red wine cask again. The way you can tell this is pretty young is the mouth length. There's really nothing happening past my molars. I'm going to add water and see if that resolves itself, but yeah, that is what it is. So we'll put a squirt or two in here and come back to it, because I want to try this. This has been attacking my nose ever since I smelled it. It is pungent. Yeah. All right, what is this? So this is a Habitation Velier bottle of a couple of casks. I don't know exactly how many. A couple of casks from Renegade, which is Marc Regnier's Granada, brand spanking new Granada rum distillery that just had to shut down. All pod distilled. They do have a column as well, but this one is all pod distilled. Age 2020 to 2023. Barrel proof, 55%, 3 years old. There is a congener marking of 466.4. That is not the same thing as esters. Do not mix those up. Esters are a kind of congener, but not all congeners are esters. So they're doing some advertising here. So this is a mix of ex-French oak and American virgin oak casks from the variety La Colombe Red. Okay. Yeah, sounds cool. So this is Renegade, but it is not one of Renegade's own bottlings. This is from the Velier folks. And boy, oh boy, does it smell fun. Like, this is pungent. It smells a little bit like this is going to sound gross. Imagine pouring rubber cement all over, like, I don't know, a steak that you left out a little bit too long, like a piece of meat. There's something, yeah, like it's like rubber cement and meat. Oh god, it's gross in the best way. Like, those of you who love your Coronis and your sherry aged Clarins, things like that, come on in the room. Like your MOBAs, I think you're gonna like this. There is fruit, but everything is so, like, just run over roughshod by the rubber cement thing. It's hard to pick out what kind of fruit. Okay, let's go tomato. Got like good old-fashioned mashed plum tomato, but with rubber cement all over it. Some basil as well. Little hints of vanilla. But really it feels like the cask, if anything, kind of brought out the really aggressive savory quality of this rum, as opposed to like calming it down or giving it additional oaky kinds of layers. That doesn't feel like what's happening here. Little hints of dried fruit. It's not really fig, it's more like almost a fig butter kind of thing, but again, mixed with rubber cement. Black pepper. A little bit of lime peel. I mean, in some ways it's very, very one note, but this is like it's a good one note. This is like, what is it? Giacinto Scelsi's 4 pieces on one note, which is really fun. It's a really fun piece of music. Go listen to Scelsi's 4 pieces. It's a complex, layered one note. On the palate. Oh yeah. Leaves the Waterford for dead. Just for dead. Still young. Let's not get away from that. It's still young. It's not, it still has mouth length issues. My tonsils remain untickled, which I'm not, so pleased about. But this is a lot going on. Again, I feel like I'm drinking rubber cement. I feel like I am chewing on a bike tire, but in a good way. And along with that bike tire is a little bit of vanilla, a couple of vanilla beans, fig butter, prune something, not actual prunes. It's too insubstantial for that. Maybe like prune butter doesn't exist, right? Prune juice, maybe. Let's go with that. Like boiled down prune juice, black pepper, lots of black pepper. There's a little bit of almost a ginny thing on this. Yeah, you got your basil, you got your kind of overbaked tomato. There's also a little touch of juniper in here. That's kind of fun. I'm digging this. Certainly the best Renegade I've ever had. Now that the distillery is closed. As long as I'm thinking about it. If you think things are bad in spirits right now, I just got this. This is my little pin showing that I got awarded my WSET 3 for wine. But wine's in even worse shape than spirits is right now. And there are no jobs. So, yeah, that's very useful to me right now. Anyways, I'm impressed with this little guy. The mouth presence is very good. Short of a little bit of, I want a little bit more on the mouth length. So I'll give this a couple squirts. 2, 3. It'll probably take 4. I'll do 4. And back to the Waterford. Back to Waterford Heritage Goldthorpe. Okay, that's good. So water seems to maybe calm down the wine cast just a little bit, at least on the nose. Lots more honey this time. A touch of grass clippings, but not too much. The cheesy thing, the dairy thing, is also kind of receded. There's still a little bit of strawberry in there. A little, like, half green strawberry. And what is that? Touch of mulberry as well, which I'm not mad at. I love mulberries. On the palate. This is much better with water. It's still spicy. It's still a little bit like leafy, but it's under control now. Water has kind of put this thing under has buttoned this thing up, put it under control. That's much better. I was looking at like low 80s before. Now this has gotten a couple of points. We're in like we're not in high 80s, but we're more in the middle somewhere. Well, let's describe this. Apples, pears, honey, a little vanilla, black pepper, curry powder, leaves, strawberries of different kinds, cherries of different kinds. Touch of Gruyere, random flowers. Did I mention honey? There's some honey too. And that's kind of it. I mean, this is a lovely Irish whiskey. It really is. It's a lovely Irish whiskey. I don't find this appreciably different. At this age, if this had reached even 10 or 12 years old, maybe it would be a different story as the spirit kind of reasserted itself a little bit more. Maybe took on a little bit more character. As it is, I don't find this appreciably superior to any other younger Irish whiskeys that I've had, except that this is more expensive. And that's really kind of annoying to me. It's a cool concept, and I want to support nerdy 19th century barley varietals, but I'm just not. It's not translating to the quality. It's not translating to the score. It's fine. It's nice. I would never pay $90, $100 for this. I'm going to give this 84 points. Yeah, it's fine. And that's kind of the problem. That's kind of the problem, isn't it? Moving on to the Renegade. I mean, part of this is tropical aging, right? This is tropically aged. This is aged in Ireland, and that makes a difference. On the nose. Okay, so water has kind of calmed down the rubber cement a little bit. It's still very, very present, but it's allowing a little bit more of the dried fruit element in this to come out. And a little bit more of just kind of like a nice cane juice element to come out. It smells a little bit cleaner, which I'm not mad about. All right, on the palate. I mean, just, again, murders the Waterford. Just murders it. Not a ton of development, maybe a little bit more of sweetness coming out. It's maybe a little bit less aggressively weird. Ooh, even almost like a brown sugar thing coming out. Bourbon fans, you may not hate this. Yeah, this is very, very good. This is a very, very good rum, and it makes me sad that we will not be seeing more of this, probably. Unless Luca finds the money to buy it. Yeah, I'm going to score this. I can't get into the 90s, but I'll call this an 88. 88 points for this HV Renegade Rum 2020. And yeah, I kind of knew that if anyone was going to go down as problems approached for the industry, it was going to be these guys. And for reasons that I said, like in that video, way back when, like it's, sorry, my microphone keeps swinging out of the way. When do you, so nerdy, single varietal, limited terroir, single farm offerings with, like lots of bells and whistles and nerdy stuff. Those are great for when an established brand wants to extend upwards and offer a more premium priced offering with more cool stuff for the nerds, for the rich people who want to show off or enjoy something a little bit better, for the collectibles market. That makes sense. Like, that absolutely makes sense. Look at how Naison or lots of winemakers do it. You have your basic bottlings for everyday drinking and enjoyment, and then you have your nerdy high-level stuff, higher proof bottlings, single varietal bottlings, single vineyard bottlings, or caneyard bottlings. No, I don't know what the term. You know what I'm talking about here. That makes total sense. These distilleries, both of them, were essentially doing that upside down. Like, they wanted to start with the nerdy premium price bottlings, and just kind of pull in the market from there. And there's reasons why they did that. Like, a lot of the expansion into premium spirits that we've seen since the Obama years has been driven by rich people, or people who are doing pretty darn well, and the collectors. A lot of people wanted to park their money somewhere, going out of the Obama years into the Trump years into COVID. And so in that context, maybe it made sense to chase after that kind of premium dollar, right? The problem is everyone else has that too. And when you're competing with a brand that has established a core lineup and some upper class stuff, when you're competing against the Macallans and the, I don't know, what's the Macallan equivalent in rum? I don't even know. Appleton's collectible stuff, maybe. When you're competing against that, and you're just starting out, you might have some issues. And so I kind of knew that there was going to be problems. And when they went down, my first thought was, oh no, everyone else is going to start having problems too, because these guys, for better or for worse, the quality's fine. It really is. It's fine. I just have issues with what they were doing. This was the weakest, slowest member of the herd. They were going to get picked off first. And now everyone else is starting to move in that direction too. You're going to see lots of other small players, maybe even a couple of big players, go down hard. You're going to see a lot of idling. You're going to see a lot of people losing their jobs. So you're really facing, at the moment, a couple of different crises that are very, very deeply rated. One of them is current American alcohol policy and economic policy more broadly, and the problems there do not start with this second iteration of Trump. They really don't. And the response to that is like, I mean, what do you do right now? Complain, make lots of noise, be disruptive. I have left many annoying messages to my congressman, to Durbin, what can I remember? Duckworth, the other Illinois senator. I've left many annoying messages for them. That is the least you can do to annoy them about to express your unhappiness with the current state of things. And then maybe in the long term, get rid of these people. And again, my frustration extends well beyond Republicans. Do not think I am unipartisan angry here. I mean, as the Argentinians used to say, all of them out. I mean, these freaking people who say they're pro-business, and for them that really means, less regulations for the monopolies and oligopolies, and handouts and tax cuts for the already rich, paid for by tax hikes, which is what the tariffs are, right? Tax hikes on working class people and gutting to the public good like that. No, I'm done with this. I'm out with them all. And if you find yourself trying to be aggressively centrist and aggressively reasonable, play yourself a thought experiment. Bear with me for a second. Try to think who on the current political spectrum is actually advocating real pro-market, pro-business policies. Not the nonsense I don't want anymore, but like I'm talking about pushing down the cost of living and so the cost of production. So aggressively pushing for new housing, affordable housing, new affordable space for business too. Why not? Gently nudging the wealthy to invest in production over assets, investing in infrastructure, transportation, education, basic public goods, public health, public safety, with an eye towards like the next couple of decades. Punishing, breaking up monopolies, oligopolies, muzzling the banks, muzzling the insurance companies. Give yourself a minute to ask yourself, if those are really pro-business policies, who in the political spectrum is actually advocating those kinds of policies? The answer may surprise you. Anyways, moving on. So, out with them all, as far as I'm concerned. But there's the effects of current policies and long past policies going back 40 years, which is the current state of the alcohol market. People are not... Consumption's been trending down for years, and it's really been trending down for the last couple of years. So what do you do? What do you do? I mean, as a consumer, first of all, be aware of what's happening, because a lot of people are going to be hurt by this. And second, I mean, vote with your money at a certain level. Like, Diageo's going to be fine. Like, they're literally still getting subsidies through the Virgin Islands, right? Same thing. Bacardi is going to be fine. Lots of these big people are going to be fine. Like, so consider, assuming your local importers make it, consider buying stuff that's going through some small, locally owned importers. Consider buying from smaller producers, businesses, distilleries that are good. Not charity. I'm not talking about doing charity. I'm talking orienting your choices towards people you want to be around 4 or 5 years from now, that are making good stuff right now. Use your money to vote for their survival. If you are part of some kind of tasting group, or if you want to start a tasting group, consider doing a barrel pick, because that gets money into these folks' pockets pretty much immediately, which is good for them. And also you get some really good booze, and you get to have the fun of going and sorting through barrel pick samples and things. Try. So just be aware of what's happening. Be aware of who out there is, maybe not the strongest member of the herd. Hopefully in better position than these guys, but maybe not the strongest member of the herd that you want to keep around for the medium term. If they're making stuff that's good and you like them, give them your money, buy their stuff. And yeah, complain. Complain about what's happening, demand change, and all that stuff. So yeah, that's... wish I could say more that's useful, but it's going to be an ugly couple of years. So hang on tight. Do what you need to do to make it through this. And yeah, hopefully you have enough cognac stored up for the next couple of years that you can deal with 200% tariffs on it. 84 points for the Waterford Heritage Goldthorpe. It's fine. I don't see a point. I think this would be better if it were older. Maybe it had some... Paradoxically, older spirits have more chance of showing the character of the spirit off. Weird but true. And 88 points for this Renegade, which is really quite good. I hope there are more casts around. I hope we see them. And I hope they do not go straight to padding out someone's investment portfolio. Yeah, that is the video. I'm going to end this here because I've been babbling for too long as it is. Thanks for watching, and cheers.